So yesterday in the Time article, Caitlin Clark spoke a little bit on her rivalry with Angel Reese, and I think not that it's going to put to bed the rivalry, because that's never going to end. Like, look, you don't get to choose who your rivals are. Unfortunately, you don't. Like, as much as Dejanay Carrington wants to get her, make sure she's in the Caitlin Clark story, she won't be. It'll be Caitlin and Angel until Caitlin realistically just cucks her again. Then it'll be Caitlin versus Paige. But anyway, before we get on to that, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. Trying to get 40,050 subscribers by the end of the day, and lads, we were at 40,048. We've lost 10 subscribers over the last two videos, so you guys could subscribe, be greatly, greatly appreciated. But anyway, Caitlin Clark spoke about the whole rivalry in the Time article, and she talked a lot about this situation. And it's funny because, like, she talked about it at the time, and even at the time, like 2 or 3 days later, she went on TV to basically ask people to stop going at Angel, and that it was just basketball and there was nothing of it. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought nothing of it. I'm someone that watched it and thought it was hilarious. Like, who not thought it was hilarious, but thought, like, oh wow, she's gone and done it back. I did think it was excessive from Angel Reese when it was like, I thought on the court it wasn't even that bad. And the funny part is that was taken as something way worse than it was. I didn't like the fact that after she won, she went on IG Live and was celebrating. He was like, "This is for you, Caitlin Clark." Afterwards, like, but at the same time, look, it's a 20-year-old, I think, maybe at the time. And in hindsight, maybe the second time, not the greatest decision, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And obviously, she was asked about, are they friends? And she basically said what I've been saying the whole time. She was like, we're not the best of friends, but there's a mutual respect there. And realistically, look, there is a mutual respect. They have played each other they've played each other at all levels. Like, Angel was the higher high school recruit. Her team, whenever, I think she would have beaten Caitlin more times than Caitlin beat her when Caitlin was with Iowa Attack in AAU in high school. They barely played each other. I love people holding Caitlin Clark never winning a high school championship against her, but it's like, she literally didn't get to play her senior season, as far as I'm aware. Am I right in saying that her senior year of high school was cancelled during COVID? Or maybe I'm wrong with that. Either way, who cares? It's high school. Then in college, Caitlin beat, I'm pretty sure in college it was like Maryland beat Iowa once, Iowa beat Maryland once, and then Angel went to LSU, and the first year LSU beat Iowa, and the second year Iowa beat LSU. And in the league, Caitlin won 3, lost 1. So it's like, they have probably, I would say, over the course of their careers, they've matched up against each other every level. It's probably 50-50 in wins, losses. And a lot of the time they wear they wear some of the best players in their team. So there is that respect amongst best players on teams. Whether or not you like each other or not, there's always going to be respect between the best players on every team. And I think that's more so than anything the case. And Caitlin Clark is doing everything to try de-escalate the situation. She even when Angel Reese jumped up and celebrated the Kennedy Carter cheap shot, she still went out there and said that she was like, the Kennedy Carter, what she did wasn't right, but you know, sometimes your emotions get the better of you in basketball, and sometimes things happen on the court, like defending Kennedy Carter. And then she basically said, she was like, I hope that Angel didn't see what happened and she didn't know, and she wasn't celebrating it. Like, look, Caitlin knows Angel Reese celebrated her getting hip checked. Like, she knows that. Connor McCaffrey was liking anti-Angel Reese posts about the hip check. And by the way, I have no issue with Connor McCaffrey, her boyfriend, doing that. Obviously, dumb thing in hindsight when people are scrolling through Twitter likes, but I'm like, and especially with how heated it was it dumb? Yes. Do I have any issue with it? No. Like, in a hypothetical situation, if somebody blindsided and hit my girlfriend and another person jumped up and celebrated, I wouldn't be a fan of the person who jumped up and celebrated either. Like, it is what it is. But I think that that's something where it's like, again, heated a moment type decision. Again, I think if Angel Reese, of all the things that's happened in this rivalry, I think the jumping up and celebrating the cheap shot is probably the one thing that if you asked would she take back anything, that would be probably the one thing. Because that was a situation where the game got heated. I don't think it was right. And look, at the end of the day, if the worst thing a person's done is jumped up and celebrated a hard hit, like it is what it is. And it's very clear that Caitlin Clark does not want this rivalry. And even with the way Angel Reese has been talking recently on her podcast, she's been talking more positively about Caitlin Clark. And the reality is, I think both of them know. Caitlin also mentioned that they've never guarded each other. They've barely ever guarded each other for possessions, and they don't even play the same position. So there's always going to be rivalry, and I think what's going to happen next year is the rivalry is going to go back to what it was a while ago. It'll go back to what it was in 2021. Caitlin versus Paige Bueckers. I think that's going to be the rivalry. I think that's what teams are going to be really kind of pushing for. That's what the WNBA is going to be looking to push. It's what the WNBA wants. And they want the rivalry. And I think as great as this rivalry is, look, Kathy Engelbert wants rivalries, but I think it would be better for her and better for the whole league if the rivalries were Angel Reese. If it was Angel Reese, I would love it if Angel Reese just went on a, I don't know, she tried to go on a revenge tour versus every other power forward. And she does it by just bullying them in the post, by just getting every single offensive rebound. I would love it if that was her goal. If she made it her goal this season to dominate every power forward in the league. If she really wants to get off the Caitlin Clark, she's got to not make an enemy, but make a rival out of the entire league. And she's got to back it up. And I think Caitlin Clark, it's going to be Caitlin versus Paige Bueckers. I think realistically, that's where the rivalry is going to be. And I think Caitlin Clark is going to blitz that rivalry too. And then it's going to be an interesting one. Because there's going to be more and more guards coming in. In 4 or 5 years, there's going to be so many guards in the W that I think this rivalry is going to be a one that changes. And to be honest, like if Kiki Iriafen ends up being as good as some people think she's going to be, and Paige Bueckers ends up being as good as people think she's going to be, I could see this being a situation where maybe it's Kiki versus Angel debates and Caitlin versus Paige. And it get to the stage where it's like, oh, they say our draft, the 2025 draft class is better. And suddenly we see almost like a Caitlin and Angel, not on the same team, but like almost like that. And I do think at some stage in their career, they're going to be on the same team. There's no players in the WNBA whose styles mesh better than Caitlin and Angel Reese. Especially if Angel develops a bit of a mid-range shot. I don't think there are two players whose styles mesh better, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it. That is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.